Hello, everyone. Welcome to another NFL season preview and prediction video. We're continuing right along with this train, get as many of the remaining teams as we can as possible. It looks like I probably won't do all 32 as I wanted to, but I still want to get as many before the NFL season starts. Today we are looking at the Houston Texans. Now, the Houston Texans last year once again made the playoffs. They won the AFC South and they made it to the divisional round. Now, one of the big common critiques about the Texans is that it seems like no matter who is the coach, they can't get past the divisional round. First, they pinned it on what's his name, Bill O'Brien. Turned out that wasn't the problem. Now they got D'Amico Ryans in his second year. Now, granted, the AFC is the toughest of the two conferences because you got the Bills running around, you got the Ravens running around, of course, you got the Chiefs running around. But eventually, you got to break on through that glass ceiling. CJ Stroud last year, good but not great. But I expect him to bounce back quite a bit. Let's look at their schedule and let's try to predict how I think the Houston Texans are going to do this year. Now, of course, we are skipping the preseason. That really doesn't apply. Let's go to the regular season. Week 1, you're starting off on the road against the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams are still a decent team this year. I really don't know. Is Matthew Stafford going to be in his last year? I think so. I think this is going to be the last year for Matthew Stafford. He's been in the league since 2009. Second longest QB tenure of any quarterback. The longest currently being Aaron Rodgers. That doesn't mean I don't think he can still go, but I do think this year is going to be the final year at the helm for Matthew Stafford. So I expect the Rams to try and be a better team this year. Make a deep run in their final year with Matthew Stafford. At least I'm assuming it's going to be their final year with Matthew Stafford. On the road, I think the Texans lose this game. So I think you start the season off 0-1. Fortunately, the next week you get to come home on Monday night and play the Buccaneers. I think you win that one. Buccaneers, really the NFC South as a whole, is not a good team on the road. The Buccaneers are a good team, and the best team in the NFC South, but that's like saying an old cracked emerald is going to be the most beautiful thing in a garbage can. So I think you win this one. You're better than the Buccaneers, and you get them at home. Next week, you're on the road against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think you win this one. Jacksonville's in for a terrible start early in the season. You're much better than Jacksonville. Even though this is on the road, I think you win this one easily over Jacksonville. Following week, you're home against the Titans, and I think you win that one again. You're better than the Titans, and in this case you're getting it at home. Cam Ward's probably still going to be setting in by that point. I think you win that one. But the following week, you get one of your two toughest games on the season. It's probably not the toughest game. I'm going to reveal that later. But your second toughest game of the season occurs in week 5. You're on the road against the Ravens. Lamar Jackson is going to absolutely light the league on fire again this year. Still got John Harbaugh as the head coach. I think you lose this one on the road against the Ravens. The Ravens, one of three teams I think could be in the AFC Championship this year. The Bills, Chiefs, and the Ravens I think are going to be one of the three, or in some combination are going to be the teams in the AFC Championship game. Sorry, I stumbled. But I think you lose against the Ravens. Following week, you're on the road against Seattle. I think you win that one. I don't really trust Seattle this year. Quarterback by that point, we don't know if it's going to be Sam Darnold or Jalen Milroe. Not a really underwhelming season last year for Seattle, and it's only gets worse because they play a much tougher schedule this year. Your quarterback situation not as good. I think you win this one over Seattle. And then you go after that in week 8 I forgot to mention in week 6 is your bye week. Weird spot for a bye week is week 6. After that, you're home against the 49ers. I think you win that one. Week 9, you're home against the Broncos. I think you win that one. Broncos, good team. But again, you have it at home, so I think you should be able to win that one. Then in the third game in the home stretch, you get your home game against Jacksonville. I think you win that one, and I think you go 2-0 against Jacksonville. Following week, you're at the Titans, and I think you win that one. Following that, you have a short week, but you get the game at home. And this is the spot you would want to take on this team on a short week for them, and they have to travel across the country because you get in week 12 the Bills at home. Now, I already did a Bills version of this one, so you can get my thoughts here, but I think the short week and the fact that they have to travel from New York all the way to Houston on a short week, that doesn't bode well for practice time. I think you win this one against the Bills solely because of the short week. If you were playing this on Sunday, I would probably pick the other direction and pick the Bills to win, but because you're playing on Thursday, I think you win this one over the Bills. Following that, you get your first of 2 games against the Colts. The NFC South, the AFC South is the Titans, Texans, Jaguars, Colts. Kind of a late start to your series against the Colts here, but I think you win this one on the road against the Colts. And then you get your toughest game of the year. Week 14, you are on the road against the Kansas City Chiefs. You do not want to play the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead if you're any team this year. I think you lose. I think you take your third loss of the season in week 14 when you're playing the Chiefs. Good thing is you get to recover from that game by coming home to play the Cardinals. I think you win that one. Home against the Raiders, I think you win. Week 17, you're going to be on the road against the Chargers, and I think you'll lose. So I actually think you'll lose on the road against the Chargers here. And let me see, I think you play the entire AFC West this year. Yeah, you do. So I think you go 2-2 against the AFC West. I think I don't think I got to him yet. Yeah, I did. I think you beat the Raiders and the Broncos, but I think you'll lose to the Chargers and the Chiefs. And in your final game this season, you're back home to play the Colts, and I think you win. So I have the Texans going 13-4 overall. Their losses being week 1 on the road against the Rams. Week 5 on the road against the Ravens. Week 14 on the road against the Chiefs, and week 17 on the road against the Chargers. I think the Texans easily win the AFC South. I don't even think there's going to be another AFC South team that even has a winning record. It might be good enough for the 3rd seed, depending on what the Ravens, Bills, and Chiefs do. I think they even make another run at the divisional round. Now, do they make it to the conference championship? I don't really think so. But it's trending upwards for the Ravens, and once either the Texans, and once either the Ravens, the Bills, or the Chiefs fall off, the Texans are primed to take whoever spot that is. Anyway, that's it for the Houston Texans season preview and prediction video. I'm going to try, if I can, today to get one on the Roll Tide 99 channel with the LSU Tigers. The next one for here on Go Pats 99, I'm actually surprised I have yet to do a preview and prediction video for this team. But the next one for here on the Go Pats 99 channel will be the Kansas City Chiefs. Until then, this is Go Pats 99. I'll see you later.